Welcome to the first episode of the Wealth Alpha podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by nobody. We believe that an unaffiliated, unsponsored opinion is an honest one. I'm your host, Kelly Ann Winget. I'm an entrepreneur, author, founder, public speaker, and alternatives expert. The Wealth Alpha is all about accessibility, so for those of you who can't see me, I'm a 33-year-old lesbian white woman with brownish blonde hair and blue eyes, and my pronouns are she, her. Now, let's get started. This has been a project in the works for many, many months, and I'm sure my team is so excited that I finally sat down and recorded my first episode. There are a lot of financial literacy podcasts out there, and it can be overwhelming to figure out the difference between good and bad advice. I hope to create a safe space for you to learn and talk about money in a new way. I'm the founder and fund manager of Dallas-based private equity firm Alternative Wealth Partners. I'm an expert in alternative assets, and I've raised almost $1 billion in private capital in my career. Over the last 10 years, I've crashed through glass ceilings, walked through doors typically closed in our faces, and demanded a seat at the old white boys club table. We are going to be covering a lot on this podcast, and as we break down the knowledge barriers that keep us from generating wealth, I hope that I can make tax planning and investing sound exciting, because that's the difference between living or dying as a millionaire, and most people die first. Since this is our first episode, we'll keep it light. What is the Wealth Alpha? In the investment world, alpha means the investment's competitive edge. What makes your investment strategy better than somebody else's? Everyone is trying to achieve alpha in their portfolio. I believe that we are the true alpha. When women and minorities have money, they have power, and that power is our alpha. Now, how do we harness that power? You've done the hardest part, which is making the commitment to learn more about your financial situation. You've made the decision to educate yourself about money and how it can affect every part of your life. The top 10% of the country is empowering their wealth through tax planning, estate planning, business and financial planning. The key word here, planning. Creating and committing to a plan is the only way to harness your alpha. What you need to know before the next episode. The Wealth Alpha podcast is going to be breaking down complicated financial concepts. We'll be talking about current events in a way that anyone can understand, whether they've taken an economics class or not. The going-ons in the world matter, and whether they're in your backyard or not, accepting and applying it to your plan will help you keep your financial future on track. I'm going to try to keep things as simple as possible each week, but if there's a term you don't know, Investopedia.com is your friend. They do a great job just simply defining financial vocabulary. Just don't pay attention to all the ads for Fidelity. Speaking of Fidelity, let's talk about financial advisors. I am not a financial advisor. Financial advisors and wealth managers are licensed and responsible for advising their clients on investment opportunities they qualify for. I own a private equity company. I manage Reg D 506C private equity funds that are unregistered and unregulated by a government entity. Some financial advisors are only allowed to sell you whatever financial product their firm allows, while independent advisors act as fiduciaries and will advise on a wide variety of investment opportunities. Each require different licenses and registrations. The topics and strategies discussed on this podcast are just opinions. I encourage you all to research and educate yourself on the different concepts we cover each week. Investing is deeply personal and should be well understood before taking any action. Thankfully, as women, we do this better than anybody. Next week, we're going to be answering the most important question to start your wealth journey. What is your FU money number? Knowing just how much you need to F off for the rest of your life is the first step to planning your financial future. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining us on the Wealth Alpha podcast. I look forward to talking to you guys next week, so make sure that you subscribe, save, and share with your friends and family.
Cha-ching, cha-cha-ching, A-L-P-H-A, Wealth Alpha.